Hi Flosstube, I'm Tamara, the PD Stitcher, and this is my channel about cross stitch. This is Flosstube number 11. I've started Jolly July, Christmas in July, whatever you are calling it. I've started it this week. I started it on Wednesday on the 1st. So today I'll be talking about what I've been doing for that and also what I did at the end of June. Today is July 4th. So for those of you who are my friends here in the U.S., happy Independence Day. For the rest of you, happy 4th of July, because it's the 4th of July all over the world. Whether or not you celebrate U.S. Independence Day or not, it's still the 4th of July. I'm hoping to get this all recorded while my girls are out running. I've got 3 of my girls who are doing cross country, and all of them left to go on a run. None of them are going together. They just all went separately because they all are doing different distances today. I'm hoping to do it before they get back, so we won't hear the noise of the door opening and closing or the dog barking when they come in, but we'll see. If I don't, I apologize in advance. The dog will bark if they come in. So welcome to those of you who are new. If you are a new subscriber, and I had several this past week, thank you all for coming and liking and staying and subscribing. And if you are new this week, leave me a comment how you found me. I would love to get to know all of you. I've said this before, I don't really consider y'all my subscribers because that's not who I am. I consider you my friends. I started my Flosstube channel so that I could get to know other people in the cross-stitchy world a little better. I don't really have anybody here in the town where I live who also stitches, so it's just me, and I've tried to get a couple of my girls interested. They're not, so I don't have anybody else to talk stitching about other than my friends in the virtual world. So and then I've gone on the virtual stitchers a couple of times to join in the Zoom chats there, but that's really hard for me to go outside of my comfort zone and go on Zoom. Everybody was really nice and really welcoming and really friendly, and so I was able to get past my first fear, which was, will anybody even talk to me? They did, and they were very welcoming. But I also live in a house with 5 children and a husband and a dog, and Zooming is sometimes difficult because you can't really have background noise on your end if you want to be an active participant in a Zoom conversation. Yeah, there's always background noise here, at least right now. I had hoped to be a more active participant this past spring because, my husband coaches high school soccer, so he was going to be gone several evenings a week for games, especially if they were out of town games. The kids had activities and they were going to be gone in the evenings, and also with school they were going to be studying in the evenings. Even though we homeschool, they still have to study in the evenings. If they have a test the next day, they better be studying. But then COVID-19 happened and all of that ended, so I didn't really get to be as active as I wanted because everybody's home. So maybe this fall, I'm hoping that things will start to get back to normal. With the level of the virus here, I live in South Carolina. It's getting exponentially bad here in South Carolina. Not necessarily in my little town. We are having a lot of cases in our county, but mostly it's in Myrtle Beach, which is just right up the road. I have some mixed feelings on some of the things that are out there publicly about Myrtle Beach and the high numbers. We were doing fine. Our numbers were doing fine. Our state opened back up and tourists came in and our numbers went up. And so other states are blaming us for sending it back to their state because people came here from their state and then went back and had it. But like I said, our numbers were fine until we started having tourists, so I find it hard to believe that tourists didn't bring it in with them. But that's just my opinion. So, and even if they did, this is the world we're in right now, and so we're just learning to live in it. So here's what I have today. I have no finishes. I'm really struggling with the finishing because I keep the starting going, and the more I start, the less I finish. It's a vicious cycle. I have all these, and I have a ton of things on my wish list. If I had bought all of those and started all of those, I'll never finish anything. So, but that's okay. I've learned over the last year and a half of watching Flosstube and then doing Flosstube videos. I am a process stitcher, obviously not a product stitcher, because I don't produce a lot. And even when I finish things, I don't fully finish them. They're all in a drawer. So I did buy some stuff to fully finish some things this week. I didn't bring it in here with me, but I bought a cutting board from Hobby Lobby in their fall section that just got stocked, and some white chalkboard paint, so I'm going to paint that, and it's perfect for a couple of things that I do want to fully finish. So I might actually have a fully finished object next week if I can get my behind in gear and get it done. So we'll see. But I do have a lot of whips. Like I said, I keep working on them. I'm working on them. I'm just not finishing them. So I have some whips. I have some plans. I don't have any haul. I've been really, really good. I went, like I said, I went to Hobby Lobby. I bought the chalkboard paint. I bought the cutting board. And I bought some DMC. And to me, DMC is not haul. It's a necessity. Actually, I do have one thing of haul, but I broke the Flosstube pool. I started using it because I needed to. So I'll get to that. I'll talk about that when I get to it. So let's go to whips. So the first thing that I worked on, we'll go over the things I worked on at the end of June, so the beginning of this past week, and then we'll talk about what I've done for Jolly July. So every day for like the last 2 weeks of June, I worked on June from the Cricut collection. I think y'all can see that. And y'all, I really am organized, but it doesn't seem like it this morning. So I worked on that for 100 stitches a day. So I figure if I put in 100 stitches a day, I'll actually make some decent progress. 100 stitches at one time doesn't seem like a lot, but if you do 100 stitches, like I did it for 2 weeks, so that was 1,400 stitches. And I'll talk about what I'm doing for July in a little bit when I get to that one. So this is what I've gotten done on June. I have not ironed it, so it's a little wrinkly. But I have the J, and I can't remember which side the camera is on. I'm so sorry. The J, the U, and most of the N. I'm loving this. It's so pretty. And this is on 32 count Big Sky from Mystic Fabrics. I got it in a D-stash from Joyfield Stitcher. She has the prettiest fabrics. So I was very excited that I was able to get this one from her, because I love every time she shows a project that she's working on, she has the prettiest fabrics, and she's very much more adventurous than I am. I've kind of always stuck to the one or two fabric brands that I really like, because I'm afraid to go try something new because I might not like it. But I got that because she's always talking about Mystic Fabrics, so I got that, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I will try to get more. So the next thing I worked on, and we'll put this behind so that because it's just a printout, so it'll shine through. But this is Cardinal in the Snow. Ooh, sorry about that. And this is by X Squared Cross Stitch on Etsy. I can't speak words. Words are hard. It's early. It's early. That's why my girls are going running now, because it's been hot here in South Carolina. Hot. So it is what it is. It's July and it's South Carolina, but they went running early. So this is how far I've gotten. And as you can tell, I do park my threads. I'm finished page 1. That's why it's actually squared off. This was page 1, and I feathered into a little bit on page 2 because those were the only stitches in that color, and it just made more sense to go ahead and do them onto page 2. But I'm doing the diagonal by blocks, so I've done the first little block and then I'll go this way across. But I'm loving these colors. They're not really showing, maybe right now it just looks like a big blob of dark colors, but there's some lavenders and some greens in there, and then a lot of blues and grays. But if you look, when you look at the pattern, I'm up in this little corner where, yeah, it's a lot of blues and grays, but then there's some reds and purples. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to when I can get to where I'm doing this diagonal and I get to actually do some red in the cardinal. Because right now it's just the background, but the background's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous in person. It doesn't really show up very well on the camera, but it's gorgeous in person. So there's that. And I'm loving that. It's gonna take me a while because it's full coverage, but it's actually really a quick stitch. I think I've worked on that maybe 5 days, 6 days maybe. Not in a row. I don't ever work on anything 6 days in a row. Other than the 100 stitches a day project. That I do, but I don't work on it like for a long time, days in a row. So that one I've worked on like 5 or 6 days off and on since I got it for Mother's Day. And it's got 1 page done, so it may see a finish in the next 2 or 3 years. Wouldn't that be nice? The next thing I worked on is Santa with List, and it's one of these 3 Santas right here. Yeah, I'm sorry, I told you, I think I flipped my phone around today, so the camera's on the other end. So I'm trying to remember which side it's on. But I've done this one, and I've done this one. Now I'm working on this one, and this is probably how I'm going to finish it. I don't know if it's going to be in a pillow, but I'm going to finish them as a triptych. I believe that's the right word. So, like I said, I've done Santa with the bag, and then I've done Santa with the wreath. And now I'm working on Santa with the list, and I'm almost done with him. I have the rest of his pocket and the white down here. And then I've got some gold. If you look at, there's some spaces that have little empty holes. It's kind of hard to see, but that's filled in with the gold blending filament or Krynic, like it is around here. And then there's some gold in the wreath. There's some gold in the bag and in his pocket. And then backstitch, and then he'll be done. So I'm hoping that I'll get some work on him during Christmas in July. I'm going to talk to you about how I'm doing that with my whips, because I have a plan for 25 new starts, but there's 31 days, so that gives me 6 days worth of whips. But I don't want to plan out my whips, so I'm letting it come to chance by using my Tiny Decisions wheel. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's all the stuff I worked on. No, that is not all the stuff I worked on in June. The other thing I worked on in June is Positivity Rules. I forgot because I don't have a cover photo to show you for this because it's a mystery Sal. Is Positivity Rules from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. And this, I should have probably taken this bottom Q-snip off, but it's all you can't see is the bottom of the word grateful. So this was the first month, was the end of May. It comes out the 29th of the month. The May's was the windows, the heart, and the word grateful. And then this month it's kind and patient, and a word right here that I can't remember, and I don't have my pattern in here with me. So it came out on the 29th. I worked on it on the 29th and the 30th. I don't know if I'm going to get any more stitching in it to stay caught up for July because of working on Christmas stuff. So when the pattern drops at the end of July, I'll have to finish June's and then work on July's. Hopefully that will all get done in August before the August one drops, because I really am trying to stay up with those type things when I have a sale that's weekly or monthly, because if I get behind, it's never going to get finished. So those were all my things that I worked on in June. And now for July, I'm doing Christmas in July. And I'm doing the Advent animals from Brooks Books Publishing. And I'm doing one a day for 25 days, but not 25 days straight. I'm going to do a whip every Saturday. So I'll work on a Brooks Books Sunday through Friday. And then on Saturday, I'm going to spin the wheel and pick a whip. I've put all my Christmas whips in the Tiny Decisions wheel. And then that still leaves me if my math is right, 2 days at the end of July. And then I'll work on either spin the Tiny Decisions wheel or work on whips that didn't get called, or go back if I'm close enough to a finish on one or two of the Advent animals. I might just go back and finish those. I want to see a finish on something this month. I think I can do it on the Santa with list. I should, hopefully, if I can get a day where I can just sit and stitch that, that would be nice. And y'all, the lighting in here is terrible, and I don't know why it keeps going yellow to white. I think because it's really humid. So I'm sitting, I've got the chandelier here. You can kind of see the shadow in the background. So I've got the chandelier on. I've got a window to my left. This would be my left. I've got a window to my left. You can see the sun on my face. However, it's really, really humid. So every window in my house is covered in dew from the outside. I'm not going outside to wipe down the windows. I'm sorry. I'm just not. It's hot. It's sticky. And I don't like to go outside if I don't have to in the heat. I mean, it's already warm and it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be a long July if it's already this hot. But on July 1st, I started with Katie Kitty. So this is her. And my printer is running out of colored ink. So it's very, very dim or dull picture. I don't know if it would print out brighter if my colored ink was not running out. But when I started stitching on the 1st, and this is on 32 count sterling from Picture This Plus. Most of my fabric is Picture This Plus, unless it's, like I said, something I got from a D-stash or Aida. And I used to always stitch on Aida, only stitched on Aida. And then now that I've started using linen, that's pretty much all I use is linen. So this is my little measly start on Katie Kitty with that little part. But it's so much brighter in person than what it looks like in the picture. So I was really, really surprised. And if you can see, I used a heat marking pen because when I was prepping for Jolly July, I realized I needed to get 25, if I'm doing these individually, I need to fit 25 animals on this piece of fabric with enough space to finish them. So I marked it off, and I did that last weekend on Sunday. So I marked off my fabric with the heat erasing pen, and I'm covering up what I did on day 2. I'll show that in a minute. And there was only enough space for 20. There are 25 animals. It's Advent. There's 25. So I had to frantically try and see if I could find a piece of sterling, 32 count sterling, from Picture This Plus at my kind of local LNS. Like I said, I live in South Carolina. Fire Poppies is about 2 hours, 2.5 hours up the road. I love Fire Poppies, and they have such wonderful customer service and such quick shipping. If I order something, I usually have it within 2 or 3 days. So I went to Fire Poppies online and looked, and they were out of sterling because, you know, it's like that everywhere. Everybody's out of everything because of production and just COVID nonsense. I mean, I know it's not nonsense, it's very serious. However, because of everything, you know, shipping and production and everything has had to slow down because, having to socially distance and all of that stuff, and I understand. So I wasn't upset. I was disappointed because I really wanted to get another piece of sterling. But they didn't have it. So I had to make some decisions. So I decided to go with a color that I thought would be kind of similar. So I went, they did have 32 count Nessie. So I ordered that, and I'll see if I can hold them both up. They are not obviously an exact match because they're two different colors, but they coordinate very well. They look really good, and so my thought is I'm going to do 2 days on the sterling, and then the third day I'll do on the Nessie, and then 2 days on the sterling, third day on the Nessie, which will give me 8 on the Nessie and 17 on the sterling. And my air just kicked on, so I'm gonna finish this up quick because it's gonna get noisy. Anyways, this is, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna talk loud, and hopefully the background noise won't be too bad. So this is Pierre. I keep wanting to call him, that is not the page I want to show because that is the pattern. This is Peter Polar Bear. I keep wanting to call him Pierre, but Pierre is the penguin. This is Peter Polar Bear. And again, it was much brighter when I started stitching him in person. It would help if I put it so I can show you the front. My back's not too bad. It's not messy, but So there's my little start. I started on this little sweater. It says I love Coco. Right now I just have an eye and a heart, and the heart's not filled in. It'll be filled in with white, so then it'll look a little bit brighter. So that was July 1st and July 2nd. July 3rd, like I said, the third day, I'm working on the Nessie. So July 3rd, I started Mary Mouse yesterday. If I can figure out where you are and where I am, I can show this to you. So Mary Mouse, and I love her little tutu. And I actually got a lot done on this one yesterday. I stitched a lot yesterday. I decided since my husband was home and he had a vacation day, I was going to take a day off too and just stitch. So this is what she looks like. I got the white part of the candy cane and a good bit of her head. So I feel like I got a good bit on her. I'm not a very fast stitcher. Also because I also had to work for 3 hours in the morning. So there's that. I didn't get to just stitch all day, which would have been nice. But that's okay. So the other thing I'm doing, I started during Mania the first 6 months of the year from the Cricut collection, January through June. And I showed you June. So what I'm going to do for July, 6 months from now is January. I would love to have January done by January. So for the month of July, I'm going to do 100 stitches a day. I know that won't finish it, but maybe I'll be able to get some more stitches in after this month. I'm going to do 100 stitches a day on January and see how far I can get. So that's January. And so far, I've been able to do almost the whole J. I've got a little bit left of the angel's dress, robe, and a little bit left of the J, and some back stitching, and then I'm ready to move on to the next motif, and then the A. And this is on 32 count Vesper from Picture This Plus. So that's all the whips. I'm hoping to have a good bit to show you next week on that January. Y'all, I'm gonna brag on myself because I'm so proud. I made this needle minder myself. I found some stickers that are really sparkly at Hobby Lobby and just made it into a needle minder. I also did the same thing with the little donut. That was a button at Hobby Lobby. So I just made it into a needle minder. So, because I don't have a lot of needle minders, I would love to get more, but I spend my money instead on fabric and floss and patterns. So I'm having to prioritize. So I'll make the needle minders myself and spend the bigger bucks on those things. So plans for this week is to continue the 100 stitches a day on January. and then work on, today I spun, what did I spin? Chalkboard Christmas greetings Santa. So I'll work on that today, and then starting tomorrow I'll go back to the Advent animals. So tomorrow will be Dunkin' Dog, and then this is the rest through next Saturday. I'm very excited because on the 5th is Hattie Hedgehog, and I have fallen in love with hedgehogs, so I can't wait to start stitching her. So that might be my all-day Monday. I do have to work some, but if I can get my work done quickly, I can spend more time stitching. Who needs to do housework? Anyway, so that's my plans. Who am I watching? I have been watching, obviously, Joyfield Stitcher. Watch her, stalk her D-stash to see if she has any more fun things, because I love the things she stitches, and I love the fabric she uses and the fabric she's stashed away, and some of the ones she's trying to de-stash because she's trying to get new ones. So I love I love Annie at the Joyfield Stitcher. I can't speak this morning. And then Leslie Hurley, she has some fun projects, but I also love hearing about her little kittens. She breeds cats and is up with kittens. Like, I don't know how she does it. She was talking in the one I watched this week about how she was up every 2 hours because they were waiting for the cat to go into labor. I don't miss those days of babies and being up every 2 hours. I don't know if I do it for kittens, but her kittens are cute. And then Jen at Stitching in the Bluegrass. I discovered her this week, and I just love her. She's got some wonderful patterns that she's working on and some projects that she's doing. And then I mentioned last week I'm going to end every week with a quote, because everybody needs some good words that's spoken into their life. So this one is from Helen Keller this week, and she said, "Never bend your head, always hold it high, look the world straight in the eye." And when I think about all the things that Helen Keller had to overcome, those are very inspiring words from her. So stay happy, stay healthy, keep stitching. Bye.